All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Gourmet Digest. Here we have Daniel Hoffman and Smeckle. Daniel, you want to introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, I'm Daniel Hoffman Gill, and I'm a actor, writer, and that's about it for now. I think we'll keep it at that.
Cool, cool. Now, me and you talked like very briefly about your interest in like hip hop or whatnot, and we're talking about like top albums this year or whatever. Like what are you really feeling in 2016?
Yeah, well, my relationship with rap goes back a long way, considering I'm a British guy. In the first album I ever bought was Yo Bum Rush the Show by Public Enemy when it came out in 1987.
Okay.
And don't ask me why, because I was 11. So I just fell in love with that album, and that's where the kind of the hip hop journey started. Was way back then. So yeah, it's probably my second favorite music form after hardcore punk rock. So
Okay.
yeah, the two are connected closely. So yeah, I always listen to stuff, and this year there's been loads of cool hip hop records. The obvious ones are Kanye, of course, Drake, even though I know lots of people hate Drake. Pusha T is Prelude, although I thought the main album will be coming out this year, but it hasn't. Danny Brown, obviously, A Trusty Exhibition is incredible.
Okay.
And finally, Death Grips, because Death Grips rule. They are just an immense act.
Also, you listen from everything from the mainstream to more low key indie rap.
Yeah, and I've just discovered, so forgive me, but I am English, so we get things a bit late. I've just discovered 21 Savage.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and and that is some of the saddest, most painful, melancholy, like, but not in a melancholy in when Drake kind of gets sad about women all the time. I mean melancholy in that life has been so hard, all the joy has been extracted from the rhymes. And so yeah, I'm getting into that. I think 21 Savage is interesting. It's bleak. It's the bleakest thing I've heard since. Oh, I'll have to have a think, but it's bleak.
Yeah, yeah. I feel you on that. Now, what do you feel about what people are dubbing like the mumble rap movement, like the Little Yachty's, the Lil Uzi Verts, you know, auto tune. Uh, People call it mumble rap or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, all I care about is if the beat's any good. You
Okay.
know, I need a good beat, and then if the beat's good, then I can pretty much. So a lot of the mumble rap stuff, I don't necessarily rate the beats very highly.
Hmm.
Um, I need something to nod my head to, or if the beats aren't very good, I need the lyrics to be conscious and political.
Mm.
Um, so again, a lot of the mumble rap stuff doesn't really come under that bracket. So yeah, and also the genre of hip hop is so massive now and has been growing exponentially ever since I got into it in the 80s.
Right.
It means that there's just, and because I like other music as well, there's just too much. I can't get into every single niche of the genre because I don't have enough time.
Yeah, there's a lot of rappers, man. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Um, now, does hip hop beef appeal to you? The Drake versus Meek Mills, the Jay Z versus Nas back in the early 2000s.
Oh
How,
my God.
how does that make you feel as a fan when two titans go against each other, or not even two titans, two rookies?
Uh, I don't care. I don't care. I just think it's pointless.
Mm.
It's not impressive. I mean, because I don't know. I just started to re-listen to Ice Cube's first two albums, and
Hmm.
obviously on Death Certificate is No Vaseline, which is probably the best diss track of all time. Maybe don't quote me on that,
Oh,
but
you didn't like 100 miles and running, eh?
well, I just think that I think they're kind of overrated. No Vaseline is at the end of that album for a reason because it doesn't fit in with the light side, the death and life side style that Ice Cube's talking about. So yeah, I'm not a crazy fan diss tracks. I understand their place in the history of the movement of rap, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them. They have to be really exceptional to appear on my radar, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I want to do like a little speed round of like who you prefer over the other. Nicki Minaj.
Okay.
Nicki Minaj versus Iggy Azalea.
Who was that? Sorry, repeat that again.
Good answer.
Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj, the female rapper, versus
Yeah.
versus Iggy Azalea, the fancy rapper. I'm so fancy. That record.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Minaj.
Okay. G-Eazy versus Mac Miller.
Oh, I find that quite difficult. Mac Miller.
Okay. Kendrick versus Drake.
Kendrick.
Okay. That's what
Thank
Obama.
God, there was only one right answer there, and you
Yeah,
got
I know. Yeah, I don't know why I even hesitated. I'm an idiot.
That's what Obama said, by the way. Somebody
He's always right about everything. So,
Big Sean versus Wale.
Big Sean.
J. Cole versus Kendrick.
Oh, versus Kendrick. Oh, Kendrick. If there's ever any battle, unless it's maybe Rakim, then it'll be Kendrick.
Yeah. Well, I meant actual like preferences go. As far as preferences, like who do you prefer out of these people?
Yeah, again, Kendrick would probably mostly win against, just because he's got the beats, he's got the conscious flow. He can put an album together. My pet hate with hip hop albums is that they're too long, and like the skits. Skits have to be really good to not weaken an album's flow. Yeah. So like De La Soul, always really good at skits. Like they were really good at skits.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah.
Jay-Z versus Eminem.
Jay-Z.
Nas versus Jay-Z.
Nas.
Ouch.
Okay. Okay. Now, let's talk about the acting game though. Like,
yeah.
First off, how did you even get into the situation you're in, or like, what was your first big break, as people call it?
I don't know. I've been acting a long time. Like next June will be 20 years.
Christ.
Of acting. Yeah, I'm old.
You look good for your advanced age.
Thanks. That's another bonus point. Hang on. That's 2 ticks.
2 fucking points for Schmeckle. Excellent.
Yeah, 2 points, yeah, for the marrow and for saying I look young. Thanks. Yeah, I've been at it a long time, so I can't really think of what a big break would be. All I know is that I've wanted to act ever since I was a kid. I've dedicated my whole life to it in terms of I've studied. Obviously, I went to drama school in the UK, in London. I've been twice. I've got a master's in acting, that's a lot of qualifications. And I've just been at it a long time. So by being at it a long time, it means that I've kind of slowly worked my way. It's not like I've been someone that's shot to fame. That's very rare. I've just kind of slowly worked my way up, and I've still got a really long way to go. But I'm happy with that. That's the journey. I'm not going to retire from being an actor, so I'll act till I'm dead. So I've got lots of time yet. Probably another 40 years, I think, before I go. And
right.
By that time, who knows where I'll be.
That is a long life expectancy.
I think 80 is good though, right? I think. Like, the average age in the UK for a guy to die is 78, I think. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you can get on your Clint Eastwood game.
Christ, if I make it to 40, I'll be lucky.
But yeah, as long as I don't become like Clint Eastwood and start talking to empty chairs, we'll be fine.
Right. So, okay. So, like, as far as like, do you have to audition for all the like major things that you do, like from Sherlock? Yeah.
You have to audition, and to even get that audition is a long shot. So for the last few years, I've been with the best agent in the UK, which is United Agents, and so to even get that audition is a breakthrough. And then even for relatively medium to small size parts, you have to audition normally a couple of times, which is mad. But that's the way it goes. It's very competitive. So yeah, you have to audition, and then hopefully you get the role. Yeah.
Right. But the grim reality is that like everybody won't make it in like acting or like music. So like, how does one cope with the fact that uh, like when do you give up when when one really wants to be an actor? Because they say everybody in LA, from the Uber driver to like the person that works at a restaurant, wants to be like an actor or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know when it's just not like working out for you? Like,
That's a good question. I think most people know. It's just that they don't want to face up to the truth, because that truth will mean that they failed. So a lot of people will just keep stringing themselves along rather than focusing their life and their energies on something that they're really good at. So I work a lot with young actors and old actors. I do a little bit of teaching now and then. And one thing I offer is, which is a free service, which is I'll tell you if you're any good, if I think that you'll make it, and based upon my 20 years of experience. And what's interesting is that a lot of people don't want that. They don't want to know. They don't want to know my opinion of whether they're any good. They would rather give me some money and I teach them, and then they go home happy, which I'm not willing to do that, because that doesn't seem fair. And that doesn't seem like a decent way to behave. So, yeah, the industry is full of people who should stop. Who should stop acting. But the thing is that with all these celebrity shows and reality TV and other things that are about fame, there's just more young people just throwing themselves at this game, which is going to be painful for them, because most of them will fail, unfortunately, and that can be really tough to take.
so is there some sort of spiritual force that plays a role in people's come up, or is it like luck, or what is it? Or
No,
is it
I'm
something?
not. Yeah, I'm not a very spiritual guy at all. So I think primarily it's really boring answers like talent, and also sticking at it and not giving up when things get hard. I mean, these are just like the same rules for life. Like if you wanted to be a plumber, you have to be a talent for plumbing, and also when you don't get the first plumbing job you apply for, you need to apply again. You know, it's the same stuff. You need to be talented. You need to be able to take rejection and not give up, and you just need to work really hard. And by that I mean connect with people and make contacts. And the last thing is don't be a dick. That's really important.
I see. Now,
So I've been doing it wrong.
Well, comedy is a different thing, man. I mean, I do a bit of comedy as well, and everyone's a dick in comedy, so it's allowed.
but so like you say talent. So is talent something you acquire, or something that's genetically given to you, or you're predisposed to be good at it?
Some people are naturally talented performers. I was not one of those. On a scale of 10, I was probably 5 natural talent, but the rest, in terms of work ethic and my willingness to learn, has made up the difference. I've worked with all kinds. I've worked with actors who are naturally talented, but have wasted their talent. And I've worked with people who have had no talent, but have worked really hard at learning what acting and making art is all about. And they get to a good standard and they get to make some kind of a living. So,
Right.
Yeah, it depends. Everyone's, it's like any artist, any musician, painter, it's the same. Some people are naturally gifted, but throw it away. And some people work really hard to grind out, a career.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Smeckle, any comments? Smeckle?
Most of my comments would have to be on the content that I've actually seen of yours in relation to what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, sure.
You mentioned a lot of people, they try and they just don't make it, right?
Yeah, like they try for years and years and years. Yeah.
Exactly. And you made it. So clearly you've got this figured out, right? I mean, maybe not to the level of, say, fucking Tom Cruise or somebody like that, but
No, thank
you've
God.
got this acting thing figured out to the point where you can get jobs, you can make a living.
Yeah.
You're going to be on Sherlock, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, on New Year's Day. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, tomorrow, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's 1st of Jan is when it comes out. So that's
Shit,
really
2 days
cool.
from now, sorry.
Mm.
But it says a lot about your particular, let's say, body of work, that you've managed to make it to your advanced age, and 20 years acting, you're still there, right?
Yeah, that is something I'm immensely proud of because
And would you say that's a matter of your talent or of your perseverance?
it's a good question. The thing is that 10 years ago I wasn't as good as actor as I am now. So I am more talented because I've learned more and I've worked harder at what I do. But perseverance, when I first left drama school, which was 20 years ago next summer, there's only 3 of us out of 30 students that are still going.
Oh,
So perseverance, and I went to a really good drama school. I went to the Central School of Speech and Drama, which is in North London, which is where Judi Dench, and all the really famous actors from England. We've had a lot of cool people go there, but only 3 of us are still going 20 years later. So perseverance is there's no doubt it's a massive part, but it has to be backed up with some talent. Otherwise, you're just gonna. It's like the Battle of the Somme in the First World War. You're just gonna be throwing yourself over the top and getting shot again and again and again.
well, yeah, if you're a hopeless actor just pumping out show after show, film after film, and looking like an asshole the whole time, obviously you're not going to make it, right? So it's a mix of the two. But which would you say is more important? The actual acting talent, or the willingness to just go and go and go?
I think it has to be the talent first, but the two are so closely connected. So, but it has to be the talent, and obviously, lots of untalented people, in my opinion, managed to cut out some kind of a career because it's all in the eye of the beholder. So, and also who you know and other factors as well. Just like there's probably lots of MCs out there that look at some guys that have got record deals or that are famous and would think they're awful, because some people are, So,
DK, do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think
feel
it's way more easier to make it as like a garbage rapper than it is to make it as a garbage actor, though. I would probably say that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because the good thing now about music is that it can be shared and created cheaply, and you don't need to be signed. And also you don't need the fanciest equipment that used to cost tens of thousands of dollars to be able to make a record. You can do that stuff yourself, which obviously for acting, that's not really the case. You can make your own films online and all that stuff, which I kind of have done with the comedy stuff, but they were all funded by production companies, we had backers that supported our work. So if you're a musician, it's easier just to get your stuff out there rather than and share it with people. So that's what Bandcamp's really good for. I mean, I can spend days on Bandcamp just searching for these cool bands that just to put music up that are from nowhere. So
Okay, cool. So you're fine with listening to like artists that are in obscurity, like they don't have to be big or prove themselves to you with a certain level of fame.
No, I'm always open for. I mean, friends will just send me things, or people that know that I love music will say, "Oh, my friend's in this band," or "My friend's just made this," or whatever, and they'll share it with me. And I'll always listen to things. I mean, I love music, but I'm very picky, so I know what I like. But I'll always listen. I won't just go, "Oh, they're not signed." I don't care about that. All I care is whether the artist has got a good story to tell, and and they're making a good piece of music, and I don't care. Yeah.
Right. Now I gotta ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Is well, you're in the UK primarily, so maybe this is a bigger thing in LA, because I've heard some actors said nah, and other actors said yeah, but is casting couch a real thing in your industry?
Do you mean having sex with people to get work?
Correct. Correct.
No, but I'll tell you a funny story that's related. You know the porn channel Casting Couch, right? Which is just solid porn with a casting couch thing that goes on. Well, I write plays as well, and I wrote this play, and a young actor was in it. He was only 18. I won't say his name to save him his shame, but we were in rehearsals one day, and he just went. We were talking about porn, and he said, "Oh, do you know what porn I really like?" And we all went, we're all a lot older than him. We went, "Oh, yeah, what do you like?" And he said, "I love that casting couch, because it's just amazing that they get these, how they manage to secretly film these women." And we went, "Dude, you do know they're just actors, and he was like, and he wouldn't believe us. He was saying, "This is real. It's real gonzo porn." I'm like, "Dude, it's not. They're just, if you watch enough, you'll recognize the actresses from other things, like this." And he wouldn't have it. He was certain that it was real fly on the wall gonzo pornography, which it's not. So
right, that was like hella illegal. They like hella illegal to do some shit like that.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, but no, I think there's always people, especially it's always men. There's always men, and it happens in the UK, that will get themselves a cheap video camera and write a script that's awful and that will mostly involve female nudity, and then use one of the free casting sites that are available in the UK and say, "Required 21-year-old stunning blonde with big chest and sexy bum required for amazing part in film," which is really just something for them to video and like masturbate to at home on their own.
All right, please tell me this is going to become a complaint about how they're never casting older men with long beards and
Yeah, I can assure you, I never had sexual intercourse with that woman. No, I've never done. It's just not what happens. But there is a few kind of mostly young male directors that can only write parts for women that involve them being partially naked or that kind of stuff. So it happens a little
other
bit.
things,
Sure.
or
Sorry.
Are you telling me women do other things than partial to full nudity?
Yeah, they tell.
I'm engaged to be married, and I can tell you my fiance does nothing but that.
Well, that's good to know. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate that.
But wow. But now I gotta ask you this as well, because people ask me this, but you're in a different industry or whatever. The Illuminati, like, are you in a part of any cult? Like, is this really why you're? Because like when I asked you what was your big break, you were like, I've been acting for 20 years. Well, maybe 20 years ago you sold your soul, and
yeah, and then it was a really
devil at the crossroads.
Yeah, I was gonna say the devil's got really the devil's got really bad since Robin Johnson.
Right. So, but you don't really give any thought to any type of conspiracy theories like Alex Jones and conspiracy, or like there's this big group of people that control media.
I used to, when I was younger, I used to believe in all that nonsense, but not anymore. The truth is more alarming than some kind of conspiracy theory. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Now, what I guess, approaching the end. What are the top three like rules for success in your opinion? If you had to come up with three laws like for success of a come up to assist people on that unkind climb to get where you're at.
That's a really good question. Again, I could just talk about the Illuminati for a bit instead. No, I don't know. What would be those rules? I think just be as good a person as you can, because you never know who you're going to meet on the way up or the way down. And that's really important. That's a good rule for life. But when I first started acting, I was pretty arrogant and rude, and I had anger issues, and that wasn't good. I messed a lot of people around, and it's took me a long while to heal those mistakes and those broken relationships. So I'd say just try and be a cool person. That would be rule one, probably.
Okay.
And then rule two, I think, would be to keep working at what your skill is and what your talent is. Don't ever presume it's done. Keep reading, keep learning, keep practicing, you know.
I heard Denzel Washington still goes to like acting classes, and he's like legendary, but he still tries to go to acting classes and pick up just maybe something that he could have missed or something.
Yeah, it's more just about, it's the good thing about acting classes, it's just about meeting people, and then you'll meet someone that does something in a slightly different way to you, and that will be really exciting. And you go, oh, that's cool. And that's probably why Denzel still does it, because it's to keep things fresh and to keep picking up new ideas. That's really important.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we've got be a good person, we've got work really hard on your trade, and then what would be a third thing? That'll be the classic. That'll be the perseverance, which will be see the arc. What happens is a lot of young people, by young people I mean someone who's 21, they think that if they've not made it by 23, they're doomed.
Yeah.
Or if they've not made it by 25, or God forbid, if they've not made it by 30, their life is over. And that's obviously not the case. So you've got to keep the full arc of life and that journey. And remember that if you're an artist, you're never going to retire. You're going to keep doing this job forever, and it will change as you get older. So it's about persevering and seeing that perspective. I think those three things took me ages to find out. So that's free. That's free advice.
Hell yeah. Now, okay. Let's see, going down to the end. What you got planned for 2017?
What I've got planned for 2017 is the main thing I've got planned for 2017 is I'm coming to Dayton, Ohio in October. I've never been to Ohio. I've been to most American states, but I've never been to Ohio. So,
have you been to Missouri?
No, that's the other one. Basically, I drove across America a long time ago, but I did it in a smile from the shape of a smile from San Francisco to Boston. So I've done both the coasts, the deep south, but the stuff in the middle, as we call it, maybe call it the Midwest, and the other bits have been missed. I was in Chicago in September, which was awesome.
The good part, right?
No, I went down to the south side because that's the kind of guy I am. You have to have a bit of an explore, right? You can't just go up the Willis Tower and think that's Chicago. You've got to learn about the Black history that's present in Chicago. So,
I'm kind of proud of you for that. I'm proud of you for that, because I got fam over there and shit like that. Like, I'm the type of person that would go there, but I wouldn't expect like somebody to visit there and be like, okay, I'm about to go to the south side.
Yeah, a British Viking to go and to go to the south. I got stared at because obviously there's not many guys that look like me, and I didn't go with a camera. I'm not trying to take photos or be like.
Did you take security?
No. It was. I just wanted to see. I was mostly interested. It's not really the proper south side. I was mostly interested in Bronzeville and the areas around there, because that's obviously where the great jazz bars were. That's also where the first black bank was, the first black militia. You know, it's where Chicago is obviously, as you already know, is one of the first places where black African Americans got together and started to organize things for themselves rather than them being on the terms of the white man. And that's really important to learn about, you know, because we don't learn about that in England. So I went to Chicago with my wife to learn about that. And it was cool. I was made to feel very welcome, and I had a good time wandering around and talking to people.
What about Dayton? But why Dayton, Ohio? Why not like L.A. or in New York? Why Dayton, Ohio?
Well, sorry, I didn't finish. I'm going to Dayton, Ohio to do a Doctor Who conference. So I go there and I sign autographs for people and pose for photos. So it's like a Doctor Who event. Obviously, Doctor Who is a pretty big show in the States. And so I'm coming for like 4 days. It's the first time I've ever been to America to do a Doctor Who event. I've done them in the UK a lot, but
is Doctor Who like is that a UK show? I've never seen it.
In the UK it's massive.
TV show for a while. Then I think a bigger network picked it up or something.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It has it's a sci-fi show, so it has a very strong fan base. But it also, that fan base is starting to get really big in. It's on BBC America, I think.
If I recall correctly, you were in like some sort of medieval episode or something, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was a medieval warrior, which is, you know, looking at my face is exactly.
Yeah, it suits you.
Yeah, it's my niche. My niche is medieval warrior. That's just the way it goes. I can't help it. It's the way I
like. Actually, though, I can't let you go without asking about the Alice Through the Looking Glass. How was that experience? Disney and all that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I've ever worked on. I think that film came under budget by something ridiculous like $15 million, which just shows you how big the budget is. I've never been, it's the biggest thing I've worked on. So I worked on it for weeks because I was doing lots of special effects, the opening sequence on the boats. And then you look at the film and the weeks of work is cut down to about 30 seconds or 60 seconds of screen time. But that was incredible. It was the scale and the money that was thrown at it and how well you were treated, and just everything was, you know, Doctor Who and Sherlock are big shows in the UK and slightly in America, but obviously Disney and the money that they have for making films is just it's insane. They used to the scripts, because I used to get the scripts sent to me. Every time they changed a script, they would send it in a limousine, just the script.
Damn.
Yeah, and I only had like 7 lines. So you think about all the actors that were in it. Every time there was a guy would deliver the script in like a black limo, would hand deliver it because it's top secret. And I must have had 3 scripts. So and driven all the way from, I don't know, it's about 60-mile journey to get 1 script to me, and then 100, and then 60 miles all the way back. Did
you ever try to convince your neighbors that it was somebody important, like the prime minister or something like that?
The funny thing is that I don't think my neighbors noticed. They never noticed a limo pulling up, dropping a script off. I don't know why, but it's London, so like weird things happen a lot. You know, it's a bit like LA. There's always limos and there's always stuff happening and there's always something going on.
Daniel, so all these scenes were shot in London, like, so the Alice Through the Looking Glass that was shot in London and all that.
No, some of it was shot in Gloucester, which is near Bath, so in the west of the United Kingdom, because they needed it for the port and the old boats. And then the rest of it was shot outside of London in a huge special effects I forgot what it's called, the studio, off the top of my head, but it enabled them to build an exact replica of this boat, and kind of raise it really high up so they could recreate the fight sequences, because the boat needed to go over 180 degrees on its side. So they had to build a hydraulic version that then obviously we were all flipped on our side. So most of it's filmed in studios in or around London. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do like a not so smooth segue, but I gotta understand this, Daniel. Like, you really, and I met you by interacting with somebody like politically on Twitter or whatever. Like, what makes you interact and so feverishly on Twitter, like to check somebody on their politics or whatever? I think it was a actual alt-right or supremacist or some shit like that that I met you or whatever. But like, what makes you go all out on Twitter? Because I've looked at your Twitter feed, and it was so hard not to even touch on politics, because like you retweet it and like a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, man, this is interesting.
Yeah, I don't mind not talking about politics. It's just that can go on for days. That kind of chat. I'll answer that question. What happened is that when I first got on the internet, which was 2002, I think. I started to write for a political website called Lunch Break, which no longer exists, because I am a political person. I would consider myself that, as in I engage in local politics. I engage in politics on a national and local level and on a global level. I'm interested in what happens in the world.
So liberal, you're liberal, I'm guessing, right? Liberal.
Yeah, but yes, generally speaking, as we call it, left in the UK, but on some things I'm not. On some things I may be classed as right, but economic-wise, free trade, free movement of labour, all that kind of stuff. That's considered right in the UK. But so I started to write on the internet then, politically, and I've kind of always done it. But I had to withdraw from it because I used to do a lot of anti-fascist, anti-racist stuff, and that got me into quite a bit of trouble. In that there was kind of death threats and all that kind of stuff started to happen.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, that's that goes with the territory. But members of my family and my girlfriend at the time were also kind of dragged into it a little bit, and so I decided to withdraw from blogging, because that's what I used to do, was blog all the time about politics. And so I kind of retreated, because it was also impacting upon my career a bit, because, these racists and fascists and Nazis would try to describe me as a paedophile or a sex offender or as a rapist or as anything that they could try and get to stick. Mm-hmm. And that kind of stuff can stick around the internet, even if it's untrue. So that's what happened there. But Twitter's kind of my little chance to still stay political, I think.
Stay in the game.
Yeah, to stay in the game. And the reason I think what happened is that I think our paths crossed because I replied to a tweet by Nigel Farage, who is a far-right kind of racist political leader in the UK. And from that, a bunch of right-wing trolls descended, and I took them to the cleaners with my banter. So that's how I think our paths crossed, I think.
Somebody in the chat asked, were you a part of Antifa? Antifa? Like Antifa?
No. No, that doesn't ring any bells. I did some in the UK. I did stuff for the Anti-Nazi League, and also for Hope Not Hate and other groups. And also there was informal collections of us that were bloggers that would. Our aim was to try and I don't know. It was to try and improve the discourse online. Kind of make sure that one thing I have a real problem with is people online who don't use their real name and identity when they're engaging in political debates because they don't want to put their name next to their opinions because they're ashamed of them. So a lot of the stuff we used to do was to try and identify people who were saying these racist, fascist things, and then to try and figure out basically who they were.
Oh shit, that's controversial, Daniel. You know that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I know. But because all of us were always 100% transparent. But you see it on Twitter all the time. You know, someone who is transparent about who they are will write something, and then there'll be a deluge of people who are using that stupid frog banner or whatever whatever it is. You know, those guys, and you know, they'll just use the worst language and immediately attack. And they're doing that because they're just hiding. I mean, they hate being called cowards. This is what I discovered. And yeah, they hate being called cowards. Then they say, "Meet me in a bar," you know, and you go, "Yeah, but we've got no idea what you look like because you're a coward." You know, you know who I am because my name and my face is on everything. But I could walk into a bar and you could be anyone because you're a coward. And they never do. They will never admit who they are. They will never put their name or their face next to what they write because they know what they write is nonsense. Not all of them, obviously. Some of them do, like that Milo idiot and some of the others. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's interesting. So, you know, not even to get too bogged down or whatever. So I'm guessing just from your Twitter feed, you're not a fan of like Trump or anything like that.
No, I don't think anyone who has a heart and a mind will be a fan of Trump. He. Damn,
Daniel, you going in?
Well, yeah, but because he's not. You know, I am a huge fan of the United States of America. I'm not saying that because I'm talking to you. But I think you can guess that. I've driven across the country. I've spent a lot of time in the country. I've read. I know. You know. I can probably do the first. Don't make me do it. The first 10 presidents off by heart. I know about the history. I've read it, and a lot of good art has come out of America, whether that be jazz or blues or hip hop or all the great. You know, it's a great country, right? There's no taking away that it's a great country, and that's what upsets me the most because Trump is not representative of that nation. Obama was, and some of the other numerous presidents the United States has had are representative, but Trump is not a fair reflection, and that's what makes me upset because lots of people in Europe will just go, it's like when George Bush Jr. is in charge, America's full of idiots, you know, and that's not a fair representation. So yeah.
I see.
You know, in a nutshell, in an impassioned nutshell. Yeah.
So Trump supporters are they deplorables?
I don't even know if that's the word. I don't know. Some of their behavior is online, you know.
Yeah.
In terms of my experience of it, you know, being called again because I'm transparent and on my profile on Twitter is a picture of me and my wife when we got married. What you'll find is that very quickly they will insult her, insult me and my appearance because obviously their avatar is a picture of a frog.
See, that's the fuck shit. Like that's what I don't like. Like if you want to like debate real shit, like even if you're trying to be anonymous or whatever, then we can do that. But like to do all that coward shit to like go at people's wives and people's this and
yeah,
it's just annoying as fuck. It's just annoying to me. Like because I've dealt with that too. I've dealt with, you know, trying to have like some honest political debate or generally just asking questions, and it goes to like shit like that.
Yeah, and it's always people that aren't transparent and open about who they are. It's very rare that a guy from Wyoming with, you know, an American flag behind him holding a M16 who contacts me on Twitter. It's very rare. He will try and discuss the issue.
Right.
We disagree, but it's very rare you'll find in those guys. I mean, eventually, though, some of them can't help but use offensive language. But most of them will just stick with me. They won't necessarily start to research me on the internet because that's what some people do. They look me up on the internet and then will say stuff about stuff they found. it's mostly people who are cowards who hide behind stuff. Because that makes sense. You're free to sling mud because no one can attack you personally either. So it's depressing, though. It affects the quality of conversation.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And did Russia now? Do you believe Russia played a role in the hacking shit?
All the evidence given to us by 17 separate security agencies and other government bodies clearly suggests that Russia was involved in trying to turn the election in Trump's favor. Whether they succeeded or not is not yet proven. But the fact that they made an effort to do so is, at the moment, it seems a clear fact. So that is alarming. I mean, if I knew that people are messing around in a British election, I mean, I don't, that feels like a serious act for another nation to get involved in someone else's election in that way.
Yeah. Now it seems to be like Smeckle. You understand this? So you're in America. Well, you are in America, right, Smeckle?
No, I'm not. I'm Canadian.
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't vet. I guess I don't vet my co-host very well, Daniel. I just, no. What was I about to say? So it's turned into like a ethics versus results type of conversation in the sense of like, was it like the results where we saw things in the DNC emails, like that we should know about. So the ends justify the means type of thing. Do you believe in that, or do you believe that the ethics of Russia getting involved is too bad? Even no matter how bad the emails are, the ethics of what Russia did was fucked up. Like, what do you believe?
Yeah, I think the Russians intentionally intervened in an election in order to enhance one candidate over another. That for me is deeply problematic. I mean, that is not, and the fact that it was able to happen really concerns me about the level of kind of cybersecurity and what the United States is doing, because that is a serious infringement. That's all I care about in terms of what they dug out in the emails. I mean, that didn't particularly interest me. All that worries me is that Russia is a destabilizing force for democracy, because obviously Russia itself is a hellhole of a country riddled with corruption, violence, and the average age of a Russian male before he dies, I think, is 57.
Hey Daniel, don't get assassinated, bro.
Yeah, well, they've already done that in London before, so yeah.
Oh, really? Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they killed ex-Russian spy in London. They poisoned him. Yeah, I mean, Russia is not a force for good. Some nations in this world are a force for good. Canada, of course, being one of them.
With their current leader, I'm not sure.
I mean, just Canadians always get a good rub of the green because just everyone likes Canada because you gave us Neil Young and William Shatner. So for that, we owe you our lives.
But okay, yeah, bro. Yeah, I just wanted to lightly touch on that because it's very interesting. Ethics versus the results. Like,
Yeah, I just think. Yeah, but the thing is that but the Russians didn't get involved in the RNC or if they did, they've kept that information to themselves. It raises all kinds of questions about whether they've got information on Trump that they're using as a leverage device against him. I mean, the fact that they intervened in that way is really problematic, considering that they have a tendency to annex other nations. So that seems to override anything about what they discovered or anything like that. It's like, what is Russia doing in the world with that kind of spying and that kind of intervention? That doesn't seem cool at all to me. It's quite worrying.
Now, what about the DNC turning on Bernie though? I was a Bernie fan. Were you a Bernie fan? Bernie Sanders?
Not particularly, no. I just wanted someone who would defeat Trump, and I believed that was Hillary.
Okay.
And looking at the facts, I didn't think Bernie could do it. I think he's a cool guy. He doesn't have a great history of compromise, though. Politics is built on compromise. Bernie is very good at defending his kind of ground, but he's hardly got any bills through at all because he won't compromise. And politics is compromise.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a dictatorship, you know. Otherwise, it's like Russia. So it's if politics is just about sticking to your guns on a moral high ground, then it's pretty lonely. Politics is about compromise, and that sometimes means having to do deals with the devil, because that's what politics is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that being said, Daniel, I think we've covered everything, bro.
That's cool. It's been really good talking to you on a Friday evening, as it is here.
Yeah. No doubt. All right. Well, I look forward to chopping up with you soon. I'm, because I want to do like I have a skit idea for the album coming out in March or whatnot. And
yeah, sure.
I've been around the block too, Daniel. I've worked with the Kendrick Lamar camps. J-Rock. Do you know J-Rock?
Yeah. No, I saw that when I was looking into you. Yeah, you said about the skit stuff. That sounds really cool. I'm always up for doing interesting stuff. Always.
Yeah.
So
I just gotta like really make this shit right, because I've never wrote a script before, so I'm collaborating with some creative people. Basically, it's about the alter ego, my musical alter ego, and I want the alter ego to interact with the actors, and even though they're going to be like 3 to 5 minute skits, not all the skits are going to be on the album. So this is different in the sense that the skits are going to actually, a lot of them are going to live outside the album as like more of a marketing type of deal or whatever.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I like that. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll keep you updated, bro. But it was nice talking to you, and I'll holler at you soon.
Yeah, really good talking to you. Take care. Look after yourself.
You too, bro.
Have a good one. Good talking to you.
Yeah, nice talking to you too, man. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.